Good evening. Welcome to the January 21st, 2026 meeting of the Falmouth Conservation Commission. This meeting is being held virtually via Zoom video conference and is also being broadcast by FCTV on cable channel 9. As this meeting is being recorded by Zoom and broadcast by FVCT, please be cognizant of what you say, how you say it, and what can be seen and heard in your background. We have a full complement of commissioners tonight. Thank you all for your dedication. I'd like to remind the commissioners that for commenting, I will call on each of you in turn, so please refrain from speaking over each other. Also, all votes are done by roll call. So when I call your name, please state your name and your vote for the record, even if you've made the motion or the second. To our public attendees, at any time during this meeting, you may enter any comments or questions via the chat function. At the appropriate time, they will be read into the record. If, as an attendee, you'd like to participate in a particular hearing, let us know via the chat function, and at the appropriate time, you will be promoted into the hearing as a participant. When you're selected, you must have your video enabled, be succinct, and respectful of others. Public comments will be limited to 3 minutes each. Regarding RDAs, under request for determination of applicability, the applicant is asking the Commission to determine if the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act and or the Falmouth Wetlands Bylaw apply to their proposed project. A negative determination is that the provisions of the Act and or bylaw do not apply. Therefore, the project may proceed as proposed. A positive determination means the provision of the Act and or bylaws do in fact apply and may require some conditions. Therefore, the project would require a notice of intent application. So as an applicant, you want to hear a negative determination. For the benefit of anybody waiting on a particular hearing tonight, so you're not waiting, the following hearings are expected to be continued. 55 Grove Street, North Falmouth. 75 Reynolds Street, Falmouth, Mass. 5 Dairy Lane, Zero Ranch Road, Falmouth, Mass. 110 Scranton Ave, Falmouth, Mass. All right. So up first, we have a request for a continuance for determination of applicability. Stephen Barnes, 55 Grove Street, North Falmouth, Mass, for permission to reconstruct a portion of the house, construct an addition, remove part of a stone patio, install drywalls, and reconstruct a stone wall. Alyssa.
Is frozen.
Oh.
I can do this one. The applicant requested a continuance until February 18th.
Bird, so move.
Driscoll second.
Got a motion and a second to continue to February 18th. Any questions? I'll call the roll. Ron.
Driscoll, aye.
Jim.
McGrath, aye.
Dave.
Kent, aye.
Steve.
Patton, aye.
Ronnie.
Bowman, aye.
Courtney.
Bird, aye.
Duffy, aye. Motion is passed to continue this till February 18th. Next, for determination of applicability, Jeffrey Eason, 51 Bryant Point Road, Falmouth, Mass, for permission to expand an existing dormer. Fallon.
Staff recommends a -3 under the state and -2 under the bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed.
So
Bird, so
moved.
move.
Driscoll second.
All right, we've got a motion and a second. Any questions? All right, hearing none, call the roll. Ron.
Driscoll, aye.
Jim.
McGrath, aye.
Dave.
Kent, aye.
Steve.
Patton, aye.
Ronnie.
Bowman, aye.
Courtney.
Bird, aye.
Duffy, aye. Motion is passed. All right. Andrea Yermologis, sorry for butchering that name. 22-8 Alder Lane, Falmouth, Mass, for permission to reconstruct a deck. Fallon.
Staff recommends a -3 under the state and -2 under the bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed.
So moved. Driscoll.
Bird, second.
We got a Motion and a second. Any questions? Hearing none. Call the roll. Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Jim,
McGrath, aye.
Dave,
Kent, aye.
Steve,
Patton, aye.
Ronnie,
Bowman, aye.
Courtney,
Bird, aye.
and Duffy, aye. Motion passes. Next, we got Paul Sellers, 307 Shorewood Drive, East Falmouth, Mass, for permission to conduct minor invasive species removal into Vista prune according to FWR 10.18 10B. Fallon.
Staff recommends a -3 under the state and -2 under the bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed.
So
Bird,
moved,
so
Driscoll.
moved.
Driscoll second.
We
You
get
take it. Courtney, you take it here, okay? You get
Yeah,
the first.
I'll second it. Whatever.
I already did. You take the first, I'll take second.
Okay.
I like when a plan comes together.
Unless
Hearing no
someone else
questions,
jumps in.
call the roll. Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Jim,
McGrath, aye.
Dave,
Kent, aye.
Steve,
Patton, aye.
Ronnie,
Bowman, aye.
Courtney,
Bird, aye.
and Duffy, aye. Motion passes. Next, we have the Vale Group, 118 Hotel Street, Falmouth, Mass, for permission to construct a dormer.
Staff recommends a -3 under the state and -2 under the bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed.
This resource area thing? In
What
other
was
words,
that?
is it a flood zone?
No, it's within a buffer. There's some salt marsh over there, but it's just a dormer, so no change in footprint or anything. We typically do easy
Bird,
work.
so moved.
Driscoll second.
Motion and a second. Any questions? Seeing none. Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Jim,
McGrath, aye.
Dave,
Kent, aye.
Steve,
Patton, aye.
Ronnie,
Bowman, aye.
Courtney,
Bird, aye.
and Duffy, aye. Motion passes. Next, we have Sally H. Maver, 25 Barneck Road, Falmouth, Mass, for permission to relocate an existing single-family dwelling and place the new dwelling on concrete piers, to install mitigation plantings, and to install 2 dry wells. Fallon.
Staff recommends a -3 under the state and -2 under the bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed.
Bird, so moved.
Driscoll second.
Motion and a second. Any questions?
Yeah, this seems like a lot of work for an RDA. Can you explain why?
Yeah, Jen met with Cape and Islands Engineering a while ago, and they discussed this work. I spoke with the engineer, and there's a few reasons why they want to do this work. But while I was on site, I did get a good peek underneath the house, and right now it is being held up by cedar piers. So a few planks of wood holding up this whole house. So I think moving it and getting it onto something a bit sturdier will be really beneficial. There is an isolated wetland in the back of the property, but there's also a second house on the back of the property right up against that wetland. So we figured this one wouldn't be harming anything. We'd move it a couple inches, few feet.
Sounds good. Thank you for your explanation.
Yep.
Okay, we'll call the roll. Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Jim,
McGrath, aye.
Dave,
Kent, aye.
Steve,
Patton, aye.
Ronnie,
Bowman, aye.
Courtney,
Bird, aye.
and Duffy, aye. Motion passes. Next, we have Kathy and David Campbell, 5 Millfield Street, Falmouth, Mass, for permission to install a shed and permit an existing shed. Fallon.
Staff recommends a -3 under the state and -2 under the bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed.
Bird, so moved.
Driscoll second.
Any questions? All right, we can call the roll. Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Jim,
McGrath, aye.
Dave,
Kent, aye.
Steve,
Patton, aye.
Ronnie,
Bowman, aye.
Courtney,
Bird, aye.
And Duffy, aye. Motion passes. Stephen Barnes, 55 Grove Street, North Falmouth, Mass. was just continued. Next, we have Michael O'Hara, 56 Patty Road, East Falmouth, Mass. for permission to replace a patio and a set of stairs, construct 2 landscape walls, and install plantings. Fallon.
Staff recommends a -3 under the state, -2 under the bylaw. Resource area boundaries are not confirmed.
Bird, so move.
Driscoll second.
Any questions? All right, I'll call the roll. Ron,
Driscoll eye.
Jim,
McGrath, aye.
Dave,
Kent eye.
Steve. I think
Muted.
this Pat and I.
Patton, aye.
Ronnie,
Bowman, aye.
Courtney,
Bird, aye.
and Duffy, aye. Motion passes. Continue request for determination of applicability. Scott Massell, 75 Reynolds Street, Falmouth, Mass. for permission to construct an addition and porch and to reconstruct a deck. Fallon.
The applicant has requested a continuance until February 4th.
Bird, so move.
Driscoll second.
Any questions?
Is Scott a builder? He seems to be coming up a lot.
He works for Longfellow Building.
He's a builder. Okay. Thank you.
All right, I'll call the roll to continue to February 4th. Ron,
Driscoll eye.
Jim,
McGrath, aye.
Dave,
Kent eye.
Steve,
Patton, aye.
Ronnie,
Bowman, aye.
Courtney,
Bird, aye.
and Duffy, aye. Motion's passed to continue this till February 4th. All right. For notices of intent, all hearings of the Falmouth Conservation Commission are held simultaneously under the authorities of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act and the Falmouth Wetland Bylaw. Although a single decision of the commission is issued, it represents a separate decision under each authority. As a reminder, public commented is limited to 3 minutes, so I encourage you to stay within the purview of this board, which are the rules and regulations of the Wetlands Protection Act and the Falmouth Wetland Bylaws, and how they pertain to a particular applicant. The chair reserves the right to stop any comment that is disparaging or inconsequential to the hearing. Please know that all correspondence is received by the Conservation Department is forwarded to all commissioners and becomes part of the record. We will not read each and every letter received at a hearing. Remember, our jurisdiction is that of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act and the Falmouth Wetlands Bylaw, not zoning, health, or building. All right. So we have continued requests for a hearing under a notice of intent. 15 Dairyland LLC, 15 Dairyland and Zero Ranch Road, map parcel 0503-001B000, Falmouth, Mass. for permission to construct a common deck. Alyssa.
Doc.
The dock, yes, sorry.
Yes, the applicant has
Almost.
requested a continuance until March 11th.
Bird, so move.
Driscoll second.
Any questions? Hearing none, call the roll. Ron,
Driscoll eye.
Jim,
McGrath, aye.
Dave,
Kent eye.
Steve,
Patton, aye.
Ronnie,
Bowman, aye.
Courtney,
Bird, aye.
and Duffy, aye. Motion is passed to continue to, would you say March 11th?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Next, we got Brian McLaughlin, Falmouth Pier 37 Inc., 110 Scranton Ave, Falmouth, Mass., for permission to replace and relocate the bulkhead, remove a portion of filled tidelands, and expand the existing deck system. Alyssa.
The applicant has requested a continuance until March 4th.
Bird, so move.
Driscoll second.
Any questions? Hearing none, we'll call the roll. Ron,
Driscoll eye.
Jim,
McGrath, aye.
Dave,
Kent eye.
Steve,
Patton, aye.
Ronnie,
Bowman, aye.
Courtney,
Bird, aye.
and Duffy, aye. Motion has passed to continue this till March 4th. Next, we have William Elizabeth Scannell, 314 Quistit Avenue, Falmouth, Mass, for permission to conduct invasive species management and install restoration plantings. Alyssa.
Yes, I promoted Mike Borselli from Falmouth Engineering to request a continuance, as Mike, I don't believe there's anybody in the audience for this project.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. Mike Borselli, Falmouth Engineering. I wanted to just open the hearing in case there were any concerned abutters. There was a direct abutter, Mr. John Hyatt, who had contacted my office with some concerns and questions, but I know he met with or had at least a phone call with Nick Crawford of Crawford Land Management and the project manager on the site. And I think that they satisfied his issues and concerns, but I wanted to make sure in case he had something to say. We can't close the hearing because we haven't got the letter from MISA. They have 30 days. It hasn't been 30 days. We called them today, but they were non-responsive. So we made the presentation and I think we satisfied the commission and the staff. So we have to wait for the letter. I don't think the abutter has any concerns. So you're not meeting next week. So I'm requesting a continuance till February 4th.
Heard, so move.
Driscoll second.
Any other questions? Alyssa, anything in the chat related to this?
Nothing in the chat related to this project.
All right. So I will, no one has any questions, I call the roll to continue this to February 4th. Is that what we're saying? Perfect. Ron.
Driscoll, aye.
Jim.
McGrath, aye.
Dave.
Kent, aye.
Steve.
Patton, aye.
Ronnie.
Bowman, aye.
Courtney.
Bird, aye.
And Duffy, aye. Motion passes to continue to the 4th of February. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Next, we have C.H. Newton Builders, 52 Oyster Shell Lane, East Falmouth, Mass, for permission to enlarge the existing deck and install the associated mitigation. Alyssa.
Yes, Mike Borselli is here to present his project.
Thank you. Again, Mr. Chairman, for the record, Mike Borselli, Falmouth Engineering. I represent the applicant. This is actually a continued hearing, although we didn't make a formal presentation at the initial hearing because there were some staff concerns. We met with staff at the office. We also went out in the field and looked at some things. We met with staff via Zoom. We made revisions to the plan to address those concerns. We went over that today with Alyssa, and I'm hoping that we satisfied the staff. So I'm going to make a presentation on what the project is to the commission. The property is located at number 52 Oyster Shell Lane. With your permission, I'm going to share my screen.
Go ahead.
Thank you. The property is number 52 Oyster Shell Lane. It's at the very end of a cul-de-sac. It has frontage on Bourne's Pond. The wetland resources of note include land under the ocean. There's a salt marsh. There's a bordering vegetated wetland that was flagged by ECR, Brad Holmes. Data sheets were submitted. Properties also within land subject to coastal storm flowage. There is a VE 14, but it's on the pond side outside of where any proposed construction activities are. There's an AE 12. That's the flood zone that the property and the proposed activities are located within. There's an existing single-family dwelling, house, landscaping, typical appurtenances, and there's a deck on the house to take advantage of the view of Bourne's Pond. There have been 3 property owners since the house was constructed. The new owner has applied and hopes to get an order of conditions that will allow, I'm going to zoom in now, her to add onto her deck in the area I'm circling with my mouse. There's an existing deck here, and we're proposing this deck expansion here to get a little bit more room. This has been designed to meet your standards under redevelopment, which say if you're already less than the required setback from the wetland resource, you can expand laterally, but not closer to the wetland resource. So this was designed specifically to not expand closer to the wetland resources, but it's expanding lateral. If you do expand lateral and you're adding impervious surfaces, you have to mitigate. So we're fortunate in that there's crushed stone in this area, which is considered impervious in an A zone. And the bulk of the deck expansion is over that. This is a walkout. So when I say over, the deck is like on the first floor level above the basement level. So you can walk under this deck into the basement, and there's crushed stone that's been here since the house was originally developed. So the only expansion of deck outside of the graveled area is here. But because we're going to remove some crushed stone, the net result is there's actually a decrease in impervious surface, so no mitigation planting is required for that deck expansion. Your staff did look at the file. They looked at some aerial photos, and they visited the site, and they found some things that were concerning. Some activities that were performed by a previous owner. First of all, there was some alteration of the buffer beyond the limit of work that was approved. There was some removal of some understory plants. So the green areas you see shaded on this plan are demonstrating an area that we intend to restore back to the way it was supposed to be. The current owner understands that she is responsible for the sins of past owners and was unaware and taken aback, but understands that it needs to be done. So that is part of the proposal to restore those areas. I have noted the area of the green. It's the overall area is 1,600 square feet, but it's not fully cleared. There's pockets of clearing. There's areas within the green that are not cleared, but it's hard to pinpoint exactly by survey. So we took a broad brush method of just shading the area in general, and we placed some restoration notes on the plan. Say that the area shaded green represents previously altered buffer to be restored. That planting shall be from the approved native plant list, and the applicant shall consult with the conservation staff for appropriate plant varieties. The plants shall be 2 to 3 gallon size, 4 feet on center. The intent of the restoration planting is to restore the previously existing buffer. The total estimated area of restoration is 1,600 square feet. At that area, it would require 115 plants. It's the intention of the restoration planting to fill in the area shaded green, but the total area may vary. It'll actually be less than 1,600, but we don't know exactly how much. But so if it is reduced, the number of plants would also vary and be less, but they will retain the services of a licensed landscape contractor that knows the drill and would meet with staff and have a game plan for how that would be restored. When you do build this deck and remove the gravel, there was one other area that your staff discovered was not permitted on the house, and that is, I'm hoping you can see this platform that was built to accommodate an AC unit. It has a total area of 20 square feet, 21 square feet actually. It was not on the original plan. It's in a B zone. And because of that, when you take into account removal of the crushed stone, but the addition of this portion of the deck, the net result is a net increase of 18 square feet. Applying a factor of 2, I'm sorry, 9 square feet, applying a factor of 2 is 18 square feet of mitigation, which is, we're going to give you 20 square feet, which is 3 plants. We're proposing them here. This seemed like an appropriate place, and I think Alyssa agreed with me on that. You may notice this angle in the deck. That's because there's a tree here and there's existing vegetation, native plantings here, or in the limit of work is proposed right along that edge, and you have a no structure policy that doesn't have a written separation distance, but your unwritten policy is to provide 10 feet. So we've shown 10 feet. We would have preferred to square this off, but because of that policy, we had to clip it. So that's what we're showing here. And this was reviewed by C.H. Newton Builders and the owner. It's a 206 square foot deck. I think I've probably spoken more than I need to for a deck, but there was some baggage with this that we had to clear up that your staff found, and I think we are showing our intention to make things right. I'm happy to take questions. I know this is the first time you're saying this, but I feel like the staff's satisfied. It would be great if you could close tonight, but we understand if you can't. And I'm here to take questions.
Thanks, Mike. Alyssa.
Thank you. Yes, as Mike said, we did go over all of the staff comments today, so I know that they have been addressed. I think the only one we were going to leave out there was that staff was recommending that a single rail fence or the like be installed landward of the restoration plantings. Something similar was done in the past and was unfortunately removed. But perhaps if this is a fence, it'll sort of be a little more natural, something you'll find in a backyard, and hopefully will stay. Thank you.
Thank you. Fallon, do you have anything to add?
I have nothing to add. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Commissioner questions. Start with you, Jim.
I have no questions, Mr. Chairman.
Dave.
Hey, Mike, you mentioned that the restoration might be less than 1,600. What, can you explain more of the reasons for that?
Sure. The area that I had shaded in green is within that area shaded green. You'll see that there's some areas that are not cleared. There's little pockets. There's some.
It's those pockets.
Yeah,
you mentioned that. I'm sorry, I missed it. Yeah.
There's some broader areas, but you really have to get in there and figure out how to plant and so we didn't find pinpoint every little pocket in the survey.
I got you. I'm sorry, I missed that. You did say that earlier. And Alyssa, I just have one question. Can you explain a little more about the 10-foot thing with the deck? That caused that corner to be cut off? I'm not really clear on that.
Yeah, so typically this commission's policy is to have a 10-foot limit of work for construction practices. That vegetation over there is a zone A. So clearing that for the purpose of that limit of work isn't something you guys typically approve. And then that square footage of vegetation would likely need to be replicated somewhere else on the property. And we were kind of running out of room.
I guess I didn't catch, now I see it. That is the line of work. That is a limit of work, isn't it? I didn't catch that. Yeah. Okay, that's helpful. That's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you. Steve?
No comments, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Ronnie?
Thank you, Michael. It seems like the homeowner and everybody's got everything in line and staff's happy, so I'm in favor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Courtney?
No comments.
Ron?
Yeah, that new mitigation area is really close to a hedge, and I guess it's a tough site to find an area to plant it. Is it too close to the hedge?
But we were hoping we'd plant something like bayberry or arrowwood, and it would sort of become part of the hedge and it would kind of blend in.
Okay. All right, thank you.
But we could work with staff if that's just to show our intention that we want to plant. It might get shifted around when we get on the site with the staff.
Okay. All right, Mike, I'm all set. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. I have no questions. Alyssa, is there anything in the chat for this hearing?
Nothing in the chat for this project and no hands raised.
Do we have
Courtney?
just a quick question. We have a DEP number for this?
Yep.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
thank you.
All right, you've heard everything. I'll entertain a motion.
Close the
I'll
hearing.
move to
Take it under
close the hearing and
advisement.
take it under advisement.
I beat you, Courtney.
Okay, then I'll second it.
There you go.
All right, we have a motion and a second to close the hearing. Take it
I'm
under
just slowing
advisement.
down at 85.
Any more questions? Seeing none, hearing none, I'll call the roll. Dave?
Anti.
Jim?
McGrath, aye.
Steve?
Pat and I.
Ronnie?
Bowman, aye.
Courtney?
Bird eye.
Ron?
Driscoll, aye.
And Duffy, aye. Motion succeeds to close the hearing and take it upon advisement. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you
Thanks,
very
Mike.
much. Have a
Thanks,
good
Mike.
night. Thank you.
All right. Next, we have a continued hearing under an enforcement order. David and Marcy Barnes, 38 Squibnocket Drive, Falmouth, Mass. Unpermitted construction of retaining walls, steps, and a patio, replacement of decking, and alteration of a coastal bank. Alyssa.
Yes, so we were aware that Mr. Barnes was going to join us tonight. Fallon, I'm not sure if you received any last minute emails. It doesn't look like I did. So up to the commission if perhaps you would want to table it until after the next hearing. We do have a kind of oddly short hearing tonight. I wonder if he's just not here yet. Up to you guys. There wasn't going to be too much to discuss.
I'll make a motion to table this hearing until the owner's representative arrives.
Driscoll, second.
All right, you got a motion and a second. Any questions? All right, call a roll. Dave.
Anti.
Jim.
McGrath, aye.
Steve.
Pat and I.
Ronnie.
Bowman, aye.
Courtney.
Bird eye.
And Ron.
Driscoll, aye.
And if you have motion to table is on. Next, John G. Butt, Mary Ellen Butt, 41 Mary Manuel Way, Falmouth, Mass. Unpermitted construction of a deck and fence, removal of trees and clearing vegetation within conservation jurisdiction. Alyssa.
Yes, thank you. I am promoting Mr. Butt, who is the property owner, and I'm going to turn over the explanation to Fallon.
Okay, Fallon.
All right. So, as I stated in the staff report, there is some history with this property. The commission previously approved the house to be built, and then kind of moving forward in the middle of the build, Mr. Butt purchased the property. And then in November 2024, I met with Mr. Butt and his contractor because they put in a building permit for a deck. This building permit was for a deck within the no structure zone, 10 feet from a zone A. So I explained to Mr. Butt that we would likely not be able to permit this. And then January 2025, Jen and we were at an abutting property right across the way on Mary Manual. And then when we were on site, we saw some cut trees down on the bank and some debris thrown in the salt marsh. And while we were on site, Mr. Butt came out to meet us and we took a look at the framed deck on site. And then staff met with Mr. and Mrs. Butt, as well as Tom Bunker from BSS Design, April 2025. After this meeting, staff asked for an updated site plan illustrating the current site conditions and the additional violations on site. No progress was made after the meeting in April, and then an enforcement letter was sent via certified mail August 8th, 2025. And then throughout our evaluation, staff was made aware of other violations on site in addition to the deck, including tree and vegetation removal, going past the limit of work, clearing within a Zone A buffer, and installing a fence. And Mr. Butt did inform me that since all of this happened, the deck has been removed. And then we can have Mr. Butt address you all.
Good evening, Commission. So first of all, I just want to thank you for extending the schedule for me to attend. I've been dealing with, I think Fallon and some folks know, I've been dealing with some serious health issues over the last 5 or 6 months. And that's one of the reasons, or the main reason why I haven't been able to attend the violation hearing earlier. With regard to the deck, had I known in the beginning about this no structure zone within Zone A, had I known that, and had it been noted on the plot plan, I never would have set out in the first place to put a deck on, because I certainly wouldn't have had the space, the room to put a deck on. I only learned about this once I found out that the permit had not been approved. The contractor, made a mistake and actually, ironically, started the actual project without the permit. He thought he had an approved permit, but the approved permit that he thought he had was for another project. And when he found out that the permit had not been approved, we met with Fallon and Alyssa, and I think Jennifer at the time, and found out the reason why it wasn't approved is due to this no structure zone within Zone A, this 10-foot buffer, which was really news to myself. It was certainly news to the actual contractor. As I indicated, it was not noted on a plot plan anywhere, and found out that it was, or learned that it was an unwritten rule. And so, be that as it may, I decided to go ahead and actually take down the portion of the deck, the framing of the deck, that never should have started in the first place. I ended up bearing the cost of having the deck taken down, and so right now the deck is no longer there. As far as the fence that I installed, I have a dog. I wanted to put a fence around the back of the yard and the side of the yard to protect my dog. Obviously, there's a lot of coyotes down here on Mary Manual Way. The other reason we wanted to put the fence up was there's a public easement right away between Mary Manual Way and the other circular road on the other side, and it's kind of like a constant highway of people walking back and forth between both of those cul-de-sacs with their dogs to do their duties. And so we put the fence up, and at the time I put the fence up what I thought was on my property line. I wasn't even aware of this Zone A buffer issue when I had Clover come down to grade and landscape the yard as we were finishing the project. I mentioned to Clover that I wanted to put a fence up, and if I should I just follow the area that they graded, which was close to where the Bay Hills were, as well as the stakes? And he said, if that's your property line, you should be all set. And so I proceeded to get quotes to put the fence up. And this is when I learned about this no structure zone in Zone A. And so, I would say I technically, I guess I am outside of that, certainly not by a lot. So what I would like to do is certainly welcome the commission to come down and take a look at the property, take a look at where the fence is, and if there's a way that we can work something out where I could ask for an approval to keep this fence where it's at, I would greatly appreciate it. Like I said, I don't think I'm that far outside of the limit of work. The area with regard to some of the trees, I own all the property down to the edge of Warren Pond. That's part of my plot plan. I own that whole that land. There were some dead trees. There were some trees that were hanging, bent over. I did go down and remove some of these trees. These trees were probably 3, 4, 5 inches thickness. They weren't large trees. They were laying on the ground. My intention was to clean up all those trees. Jennifer came down, saw the trees, and then noted that was a violation. I understand now more, even though I own the property, the regulations, and certainly respect the Conservation Commission. And so what I did is I had that whole area cleaned up. I paid a fair amount of money to have all of those trees moved. I didn't dump any trees down by the wetlands. As a matter of fact, I pulled some dead trees out, trees that were laying down there that I did clean up kind of that area. If you come down, you can see for yourself. But I do understand, certainly take responsibility that had I known more about the process and request an approval, I certainly would have followed that. As we were finishing the house, there were about 4 or 5 or 6 trees that I wanted to take down, and I was informed by the builder to reach out to conservation to get approval. I reached out, I spoke with Alyssa, she came down, we walked the property, she gave me her approval, followed by an email confirming it to be able to remove some of these trees. So I do certainly respect the process, and it was never really my intention to do anything, maliciously or to neglect, any of the, the policies and regulations. So I guess that, really is kind of, the kind of high level summary of where we stand right now.
Thank you, Mr. Butt. I see your hand up, Courtney. 1 second. I'll go back to Alyssa and Fallon after for respond to Mr. Butt first.
Okay.
Yeah, thank
Alyssa.
you. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Mr. Butt, for summarizing for us. I think everything has been covered. So if you are willing to have the commission visit the site, I think that would be beneficial.
Sure.
In order to determine things going forward, it would probably be best to figure out exactly where that fence lies on the property through an updated site plan, so we know where that is, and assuming the commission will require some restoration in the salt marsh, we might need to get some data on that area too. So just an FYI there, we might need a plan change going forward.
Is that
but I
something,
think,
Alyssa, is that something that I can do? Can I draft up that site plan, or is that something?
it would be best to be done by the engineer. The way that I'm thinking of it is it would probably be really minor, just showing that fence where that is on the property. And, I'm sure the house is located right where it was proposed, so I'm sure just a couple shots off of that would be quick and easy. We can certainly chat further about that and see what the best method is and see if the commission agrees going forward.
Okay, okay.
Thank you. So that's all I have. Fallon, did you have anything to add?
No, I think that about sums it up for now.
Thank you. All right, we'll go with commissioners. And Courtney, I saw your hand up, so we'll go with you first.
Yes, through the chair, Mr. Butt, the contractor you hired to build the deck, was he the same contractor that built the house?
No, he wasn't, Courtney.
And was he, to your knowledge, a licensed contractor?
Yes, as a matter of fact, he's a firefighter. He's also a firefighter in town.
But I mean, when I say he's
Yes.
licensed, does
Yes.
he have a contractor's license?
Yes, he does.
And so he should have known that at the very least, he would have had to apply for a permit through the building department for that deck. Am I correct?
Yeah, you are correct, Courtney. And what's interesting is, one day he had his crew out there starting to frame the deck, and I assumed that he had an approved building permit. And he was about a week later when he realized he didn't have it, is when he called down to the commission to find out what the status was, and found out that it had not been approved due to the no structure zone. And so,
Okay, because had this gentleman applied for a permit, as he should have done with the building department, they would have informed him that he would have to get a sign off on by conservation.
right.
Yeah, you should inspect. Just a recommendation in the future, you ought to verify your contractors. Do a little homework.
Yeah, I agree.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be in this problem right now.
No, it's cost me some money, and it's been a somewhat of a painful learning lesson in this case.
I'm sure it has. I don't have any other questions.
Thanks, Courtney. Dave.
Alyssa, I had to step out for a second. I had some barking dogs. Can you kind of review what our next step, our plan going forward is? We're going to get a new plan and then go visit it. What is the overall?
Yeah, so I believe the next step would be for the commission to visit the property. Fallon will send over the prior permitting materials so you can see the approved site plan for the property, and hopefully when on site you can kind of estimate where that zone A limit of work and no structure zone lies. I do think going forward it will be necessary to have some updates to the site plan, but the commission can discuss that at this time or at the next hearing.
So the plan we'll use is before the updates, like the fence and the salt marsh, the things you mentioned.
Correct.
We'll go look at the old plan first. Okay. All right. So okay. So and then we'll get back and talk more turkey after that. Thanks. That's all I have.
Jim.
Yeah, I would like to see an existing conditions plan just so we can get a better understanding of what happened and why it happened.
Thank you. Steve?
I'd like to take a look at the site. I really can't help right now.
Thank you. Ronnie?
Yeah, there seems to be a few violations, but we definitely need a site plan. And Courtney, as a builder, as I am, touched on some stuff that should have been addressed earlier. We wouldn't be in this situation. But yeah, we're going to need a plan, and we're going to need to get on site. Thank you.
Thank you. Ron?
It's agree with Ronnie there. We need the plan and need to get on site and take a look at it.
Okay, Dave, I see your hand up again.
Yeah, I have one more question. Sorry. Mr. Butt, do you have an engineer now? Are you working with an engineer?
Yeah, it would be BSS Engineering, David.
Okay.
That's who we use to design the house or engineer the house, and he'd be the one that I'd go to work on a site plan.
Yeah, so that's why I'm asking. It sounds like it'd be fairly easy then to have them make some changes, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's all. Thank you.
All right. The only question I have, just looking at the site plan, I see that the decking has been removed, but the structure is still there. Is that all going to be removed?
Yeah, it's been taken down, Bill. I completely removed it. Everything's back to the way it was.
Perfect.
I had it all regraded, re-bloomed, and seeded.
All right. Thank you. So Proceduralize, Alyssa, are we continuing this till we get a new site plan? Are we closing
so
this and getting a notice of intent, or how are we working this one?
Yeah, so since there is an open order on this property that is still valid, I would recommend sticking with the enforcement order format for the moment.
Perfect.
So it seems like Mr. Butt is content with the commission visiting the property. Most of these folks here, have their 9 to 5, so it'll probably be a bit sporadic when they're coming
Yeah,
out to
no,
visit,
no
if that's
problem.
okay.
Sure.
Perhaps we can, I'm not sure your schedule, Mr. Butt, but maybe the next available hearing in 2 weeks on February 4th. That would be
Yeah.
enough time for the commission to hop on over and take a
Yeah.
look.
That'd be
Okay.
fine.
And then perhaps we can have some feedback from the commission. I mean, ultimately, to close out the open order, we will need an updated site plan. This might just be the head start to kind of work on it, but the commission can formally request that or other information at the next hearing.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. So I'll entertain a motion to continue this till the 4th.
Make a motion to continue the hearing until February 4th.
Bird,
Bowman,
second.
second.
All right, I got a motion and a second. Any other questions? Anything in the chat, Alyssa?
Nothing in the chat for this project and no hands raised.
All righty, I'll call the roll. Dave,
Anti.
Jim,
McGrath, aye.
Steve,
Pat and I.
Ronnie,
Bowman, aye.
Courtney,
Bird, aye.
Ron. Driscoll, aye.
and Duffy, aye. Motion has been passed to continue this.
One more question for Mr. Butt.
Yes, I don't know.
Mr. Butt, are you there? Are you living there?
Yes, I am. I live full time.
Okay, thank you. So we'll knock on the door and tell you that we're coming and you can show us
Yeah.
around.
No, yeah, I'll be here. I'll be here waiting
Okay,
for you.
thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Butt.
Thank you.
Alyssa, has Mr. Barnes joined the meeting yet?
Yes, I do see him in attendees, so we can untable that hearing.
Motion on
All right.
3038 Squibnocket Drive. Driscoll.
Bird, second.
All right, we'll call the roll. Dave,
Anti.
Jim,
McGrath, aye.
Steve,
Pat and I.
Ronnie,
Bowman, aye.
Courtney,
Bird, aye.
Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
Duffy, aye. Move to untable. All right. Next on the agenda is David and Marcy Barnes, 38 Squibnocket Drive, Falmouth, Mass. Unpermitted construction of retaining walls, steps, and a patio. Replacement of decking and alteration of a coastal bank. Alyssa.
Yes, thank you. So just a note on the quorum. Let's see. Courtney, you're not on this quorum, okay?
Okay.
All right. So yep, here's Mr. Barnes. Thank you for joining us, sir. We have a continued hearing before you all as we were awaiting a existing conditions plan of the property, which was submitted to us today. We did forward that to everyone. Since it did come in today and we had various meetings and other things going on, we did not get time to adequately review the proposed, the existing conditions plan of the property. We also got an overlaid plan with a 2015 plan of the property to kind of see what changes had occurred based on the previous site conditions. We would be requesting that the commission extend a continuance for this project so that the staff can fully evaluate the plans that were submitted to us. Perhaps reach out to, I believe it's Farland, is that the name, Mr. Barnes, of the company, if there are any revisions or things that we might see. I know my first glance at the plans, they don't show the resource areas or the buffers on there. We're going to need some measurements to fully evaluate if certain aspects of the retained features are moving closer and that kind of thing. But the staff just doesn't have solid recommendations for this commission yet until we have some time to review the plans. So that's all I have at the moment. Oh, no, Mr. Barnes, we can't hear you. I see you there. Let's see. Try that. Oh, okay. No, not yet. There is a phone in option. Mhm. Yep, there is a phone in. Let me see where the number is. Um,
Can
If
you
you click
hear us?
options next to the mute button, the little arrow.
oh, the switch to phone audio. There it is. Yep, and then those are the numbers, sir, that you can call.
Can you hear me now?
Now we
Can you
can.
hear me?
Here we go.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Sorry about that. I don't know what's going on with my computer. So yeah, I didn't know exactly what to have Farland do. I told them to do existing site conditions. I paid $6,000. It's stamped. You're saying it's missing some features though, Alyssa?
Yeah, so just like I said, we didn't get to do a deep dive into it today. It looks like all of the features on your property are likely shown. It does show the trees and the landscaped areas and whatnot. But one of the things we like to review is our buffer zones. So for each of our protected resource areas, there's a 100-foot buffer divided into different sections. So those lines are typically showed on plans to help us orient ourselves on what part of the buffer certain aspects of properties are in. So that will be important, partly in terms of determining if any features of the property are, moving closer, or things of that nature. So we will need those things to be added to the plan. That's kind of all I can say at the moment. I didn't,
Yeah. Well,
look into too
my
much yet.
entire house is within that. The whole
Likely,
house,
yes.
everything. No,
Yeah.
it's definite. So, my backyard goes 50 feet back horizontally to the water and it's about 50 feet down. So the slope of it is a 45-degree slope.
Okay.
The retaining walls, the overlay, when you do get a chance to look at them, I believe some conversation is worthy here. You'll see that the retaining walls that were replaced are in roughly the same spot. So there's the south side. So the stairs in the middle of the two retaining walls, to the right of the page is the south side, to the left is the north side. The right of the page of the south side, that wall has encroached 10 inches roughly, maybe a foot closer to the water. On the left side, it's gone 5 feet. And I'd like to share a picture with you just so you can distill this in your mind.
Sure.
Yeah, do you guys see this here?
Not yet.
It's
There
coming.
you go.
Yep.
Okay, so if we go back to when I first talked to you, this was the existing condition when I bought the house, and you can see the erosion there and the tree roots, and that middle tree fell into the water, which prompted us to get the contractor that was working down the road in here and do a fix. They put a wall up that's 4 feet high right here to retain all that soil back. And then you can see in the background the retaining walls. You know, the one on the left, you can see the bushes above it, and the one on the right, you can see is a little higher with no bushes on it. And let me show you one more picture just so you guys can get this in your mind, what you're looking at here. Shoot, did I close that thing out? Okay. Okay. Share. Share. Okay, do you see this picture here now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so you can see, and maybe you see my cursor. This is the south side, and this is the north side. What we did is we replaced this south side wall in its place, but we just kept going across, okay? So by the rules, I'm sure that this additional space that I took up is wrong, but you'll see the overlay on the two. So Harry Turner, when he owned the house back whenever, had a plot plan that is on file with y'all, and that is what's been overlaid, and that came from Falmouth Engineering. So they have that on their file if you want to, you know, verify or check with them on that. And then Farland did obviously the stamp drawing that you have now. Yeah, and so what I'm very hopeful for is that, you know, I've already talked to a contractor about saying, okay, if I got to move this wall back on the left side a foot and the other one back 5 feet, that's going to cost about $80,000. You know, if I have to do it, I have to do it. I just hope that we're just taking some type of consideration into what are we all gaining out of this? Because I know I'm losing a lot of my family savings over it. I did not know about the permitting process. I was told that by this contractor, we never even talked about permits. So Russ has told me many times, hey, Dave, ignorance of the law is not, you know, it doesn't buy you anything. So I get it. But I just throw myself to you all at your, you know, and just say, you know, I'd like to come to some middle ground with you all for this. My understanding, and Russ, I guess, has left the commission, but he came out and we talked, and, you know, these rules, these setback rules, my entire house is in there. So my understanding of the charter of this commission is to take these unusual circumstances and draw some middle ground on saying, yeah, you can't comply with the law because the whole development, your whole street is within this area. So yeah, okay, I've said enough. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So do you want me to come back in February or something, or you just email me?
Yeah, so I think, you know, if the commission has any questions or comments at this time, we can turn to them. Like I said, we did send them over the plan, but only just today, so I'm not sure if they were able to look at it to have questions or comments for
Yeah.
you.
Sure.
But based on your schedule, sir, to be able to rejoin us in the commission, looking for some time in February would be the next step. But I'll turn it over to Bill if there is anything from the commission.
Nice. Before I go to Commissioners Fallon, you had anything to add first?
Yeah, just kind of echoing what Alyssa said. We briefly looked at the plans today, but there's a lot to look at that we want to take into consideration and possibly even go back to the site. And Jen has been out sick, so we are hoping Jen, once she gets back in, she can also take the time to review with us and go back out onto the site with the plan so we can see both at the same time. And I believe in Jen's email earlier today, she suggested for continuance dates either February 4th or February 18th, Mr. Barnes. So after we hear from the commission, up to you on that one.
Thanks, Fallon.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Barnes?
Oh, I was just going to say, I think I'm open. The first week of February, I'm away, but I think I'm open the others. I'll just say, I think Ron came out to the house, and Russ has already been out to the house, and Phelan has been out, and Jen's been out. If you all wouldn't mind, just contact me, please, before you come. You can come anytime. I have no problem with that. I just don't want my wife or my daughters to get spooked for me backyard or something.
Right.
Just let me know. Thank you.
So questions, I'll start with you, Jim.
I have no questions, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Steve.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't get out, so I would like to see it. And what time of day is better for you?
Well,
Obviously,
I'm in
daylight.
Yeah, daylight work is good. I work up around Boston, so I do, like right now I'm in Billerica, so I'm not always there, and that's why I'm kind of asking if you. So I'm going to be back next week. I'll be there, Stephen, and I'll be there Monday, Thursday, and Friday next week.
Yeah, I'd like to do it before Monday, but I'll give you a call.
Okay.
Thank you.
Before Monday,
And your contact
we could do it this week.
information?
We could do it this weekend, sir, if you want.
Right, I have some conflicts, but I'll try.
Snow is coming.
Oh,
Not till
okay.
Monday,
It's up
but
to
thank you, sir.
Okay. All right.
Ronnie.
I got no questions. Just want to see the new site, the plan with the existing conditions. Then we go from there.
Yeah. Ron.
Yeah, I'd say it's nice to see that there was a retaining wall there in the first place. During all this time, I thought the retaining wall was brand new. So that opened my eyes a little bit. I understand. Yeah, now I understand a little better. Good, thank you. So,
Dave.
Mr. Bell, I forget. Are there two walls back there now?
Let me pull the picture up, and the picture just does 1,000 words, if you don't mind. I don't want to take too much.
Because you did talk about extending one, so I'm just kind of
Okay, I'll be real clear here.
Yeah.
Do you see the picture?
Yeah.
Do you see my mouse moving back and forth on the left side?
And you're showing the left
Okay.
side. Yeah, we see it. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So the new retaining wall is pretty much exactly where this is here. This wall that was also existing, you can see it. We, instead of putting it back in that spot, the contractor's telling me, Dave, it's a lot easier if I dig straight across here and just do it all straight. And so that's what we did. We replaced this wall, came right across, dug straight across, and to here. And so now the wall that was existing here is 5 feet forward, and you're going to see that on the overlay.
So it came forward toward the water.
Yes, sir. It's in line with this one. So now the wall is contiguously straight
there.
across.
What,
Yes, sir. This is a wall, Dave. This is a wall.
Yeah.
This is a wall. They were existing. Now it is straight across.
Mm-hmm. Got that.
Okay. Okay.
The other wall, and the other wall. What happened to the upper wall?
This here?
Yep. It stayed?
Yeah. It is.
I thought something moved. I thought it moved.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So watch my mouse. Okay, my mouse is going to draw a line where the new wall is. Okay.
I understand that. What happened
They
to the
essentially
that's
removed
gone.
that upper wall
That's
and
gone.
rebuilt it parallel to the other wall, so it was a straight contiguous structure. So that taller railroad tie wall on the right side of the screen moved closer to the water so that it could be in line with the railroad ties on the other side. Does that make sense?
So
How many walls?
So look,
So is there one wall?
it's
Yes,
the
one wall
same.
bisected
It's
by the
same.
stairs.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll look at the
just-
plan. I'll see. Let's not belabor it. I'll look at the plan.
Well, I'm not
We'll see.
belaboring anything, Dave.
I'm not understanding. I'm sorry. It's probably me being thick.
No, that
Again, you haven't really looked at the plan, Dave. So
Yeah.
it's
So that's what I'm saying.
it might be
I
difficult.
suggest I'll look at the plan. Don't worry about it. Well, I'll look at the plan. I'll figure it out later. I will. Don't worry about it. Seriously.
well, I am worried about it because this is a tremendous impact to me and my family. Okay, so all due respect, sir, I am worried about it. Just so you understand, and I have pictures to corroborate, these railroad tie walls were falling down, rotten. They were put in 1990. They had to be replaced. Okay, so I want you to understand the storyline. I did not aggressively take any action intentionally.
I only want to know what's there now. That's what I want to know. I don't care.
Okay.
I want to know what is there now. That's all I want to know.
Okay, okay.
So I'll figure it out.
Come look at the property.
Yeah, site.
I'll visit for a plan and a visit. I'll figure it out.
All right. Thank you, Dave. Courtney, you're not on the quorum, but I will allow you to ask a question.
Yeah, if I can, I don't want to take the commission's time, but I would remind the commission to be very mindful in making a decision about what course of action to take here. That the precedent that's set by allowing this to go forward without remedial action will be, based on my 22 years on this commission, will be problematic. And I think you guys have to think long and hard about what course of action you take on this. And I appreciate the owner has spent thousands of dollars to build this wall or do this work. And however, it was done without a permit or approval by this board. And so if you allow it, much as it may cause financial distress to the owner, you have to think about what the ramifications of allowing that to be. And my experience on this commission, more than once, is when this commission has taken a very sympathetic approach to the financial hardship that a decision that we might take will have on him. We've had the repeated experience of this coming back and biting us in the you know what. And so I just advise the commission to think very hard on what course of action you have. And that's in all due respect to you, Mr. Barnes. I understand the dilemma that you find yourself in, but we have to uphold the wetland regulations, and we have to be fully aware of the ramifications of any decision we make. Because if you can certainly understand that the next guy who comes in here with a similar problem is going to say, well, you allowed Mr. Barnes to keep his wall, so why can't you allow me?
Well, did that other person have an existing wall in the same place,
believe
though?
me, sir, that becomes a major problem for us. So
okay.
That's my 2 cents worth. I'm not on the quorum, which is maybe good for you, but that's the case. Anyway,
Thank you, Courtney.
Well,
I appreciate it.
Well, so last thing I'll say is, look, I'm not looking to put you folks in a bad place. You guys donate your time for this. I'm looking to have a middle ground and do what I can. It's just that I just hope you understand that the walls existed. They needed to be replaced, and that's what I did. And punitive measures, I just hope that the Conservation Commission considers environmental conservation first and not just punishing people. That's all. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barnes. So I will resolve my comments until after I've actually taken a look at the plans and such. So, Alyssa, looks like we're looking to continue this until the
18th.
The 18th?
Yep, I think
February?
the 18th. Yep, we have some availability then.
Mr. Barnes, does that work for you? All right.
Make a motion to continue the enforcement order until February 18th. Driscoll.
Bowman second.
All right. Any other questions? Seeing none, I will call the roll. Dave.
Anti.
Jim.
McGrath, aye.
Steve.
And I.
Ronnie.
Bowman, aye.
Ron.
Driscoll, aye.
And Duffy, aye. Motion has been made to and received to continue this enforcement order until February 18th.
Thank you,
Thank you, Mr. Barnes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mhm. All right, moving on to vote in order of conditions. We've got Michael and Pamela Bacharach, trustees, Bacharach Family Living Trust, 197 Shorewood Drive, Falmouth, Mass. Alyssa.
Yes, thank you. So this is a raise and reconstruction of a house in a very similar footprint. There were some concerns with staff on site with the narrow limit of work on the north side of the property. So we had suggested putting in, requiring some orange construction fencing to go up to prevent any potential trespassing. There was note of some tree removal on the property. So we would like to see some replacement. In addition, there has been continued cutting on the bank and restoration of that would be necessary. I believe the homeowner is going to be working with BSS Design to come up with a proposal, and we can see if it is something that we can do under an AOC for the property. I think that is it. We did get a revised plan that Tom Bunker was discussing during the hearing with some of our other calculation changes. So I believe all those are taken into account.
Okay. Any questions for Alyssa?
All right. Move to issue an order of conditions as extensively discussed. Driscoll.
Bird second.
All right. Any other questions in roll call?
Ronnie,
Dave.
you're not on these hearings because you weren't here last week.
Good night, all.
Good night,
Hey, Ron. You're going.
Anti.
All right. Jim.
McGrath, aye.
Steve.
And I.
Courtney.
Bird eye.
Ron.
Driscoll, aye.
And Duffy, I move to extend an order conditions as extensively discussed. Next, we have Stephen and Janice Rayo, 173 Metoxic Road, Falmouth, Mass. Alyssa.
Yes, this is also a raise and reconstruct. Let me see. There is a good portion of the property outside of jurisdiction. So most of the house, some of the septic and some of the driveway are in jurisdiction. We did discuss during the hearing, there were a couple unpermitted features on site, so that impervious surface calculation will need to be readjusted. While the planting is taking place, they're going to take a look at that eroding coastal bank and see if they can supplement it at all. Maybe some long-rooted grasses could help bolster it a little. Couple small tweaks to the plan, adding a path on it, extending the limit of work, and as typical per properties like this, we'd recommend adding the special condition regarding prohibition of any future coastal engineering structure. And I think that's it.
Any questions for Alyssa? Hearing none.
I move to issue an order of conditions as discussed.
Bird second.
All right. Any questions? Seeing none. Dave.
Anti.
Jim.
McGrath, aye.
Steve.
And I.
Courtney.
Bird eye.
Ron.
Driscoll, aye.
And Duffy, aye. Motion passes to issue an order of conditions as discussed. And Falmouth Port condominium owners, Rudy Hunter, Falmouth Port Drive, across from units 278 to 292, Falmouth, Mass.
All
Alyssa.
right, so yes, thank you, thank you. This was a proposed road redevelopment project for a particular section of Falmouth Port. In addition to installing various drainage features, the road will also be elevated and repaved. Due to the emergency outlet pipe that is displacing some Zone A vegetation, so that will be restored elsewhere in that area. Also, the last plan revision showed a flat grass path on the seaward side of the road. The reason this was proposed is they had formerly wanted a sidewalk. Jen and I had met with Rudy. He is the applicant on site, kind of discussed that that would be hardscape moving closer in the Zone A, and in general, there's not enough room to mitigate for that type of increase in impervious surface. So they're going to try this out. If it doesn't work out, we told them that we would meet later on site, summer, fall, and try to discuss a potential remedy. But for right now, I think the grass path will allow the folks to have a little more usable space by the walkway to not have to worry about the passing traffic.
Thank you. Any questions for Alyssa on this?
No. Move to
Hearing
issue
none.
in order of conditions as extensively discussed. Driscoll.
Bird second.
All right, I'll call the roll. Dave,
Tie.
Jim,
Breath aye.
Steve,
Abstain?
right, Courtney,
Bird eye.
Ron,
Driscoll, aye.
and Duffy, aye. Order of conditions as discussed has been approved. All right, that seems like it's the end. I will take the final motion.
Can I do
I
say
will make a motion to adjourn.
1 second. 1 sec. What?
1 second. I know, Courtney, you just went on with about the wall and our honor and our responsibility as commissions to think about it. And just as a reminder, we have 5 retaining walls. We had one last week, one big one next week that some of the newer commissioners are going to have to come up to speed on, and the 3 on Squibnocket. So we really have to adhere to what we say, because if someone's going to point right at it, if we too lenient or too strict, someone's going to point right at us immediately. Okay, that's all. Just wanted to say my piece. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Ron.
Ron.
So we have a second on the motion.
Second on the motion.
Pat,
Adjourn.
aye.
McGrath aye.
Driscoll, aye.
Tie.
Bird eye.
Then Duffy, aye. Motion passed to end. Thank you guys all. Much appreciated.